All right, people, we're going to be looking at a bit of a GCSE college project today. I lied, it's not a GCSE project.
I can't lie!
Fragmentation photography, what is it and why is it trending? Well, to answer that, they seem to be doing it in photography projects, BTECs, design, and it's a bit of it's just like a terminology really for like, well, depends what medium you're using obviously, but it's collages, multiple exposures, it's just everything really. So what they're doing is, I think like it's just another aspect they're teaching, they're sort of going over in college, from what I've seen. But in actual fact, it's been around for decades. So in its simplest form, it was multiple exposure, which I'm pretty certain you've all seen, and you can get some really good results for that. I think a lot of it's trial and error and actually understanding how you sort of get it to work with light and dark and contrast within the two images that you're doing. But it's really interesting in actual fact. It's not something I've really done because I find that it's not like my bag, because I'd have to invest lots of time into that to get it to a level where it would be. I've done a lot of imagery where stuff's blurred or you've got like motion and things like that, which most of us have done. But the fragmentation photography, apart from the double exposures, really, really good where people have done like multiple shots of things, like whether it's just like one subject or multiple subjects, and then just use actually printed images and then collage them together. And it's quite good, it's quite therapeutic because you're looking through your images and then you can just like layer them on a table and obviously crisscross them over to sort of add aspects. So if it was a portrait, you can, you've got like say 7 different angles or maybe more of a face, like quite tight or quite wide, and then you can just layer them up and like move the lips, the nose, the eyes on, and it can create some really good photography. Because although it is quite subjective, but you can, because obviously sometimes it just doesn't work and you need to move around a bit more, so like doing like a flat lay, but it's really, really good. I'll pop some images up which you can sort of look up yourself, and there's some famous people up there which do it, but there's some really, really interesting concepts there where they've used the human form, or they've just used like architect, and it's just another way of looking at really good imagery from a different perspective, and the results give you something which could actually be quite mundane, but then it will give you an interesting image that you can use for your portfolio. And again, I think it's more so, apart from when we were doing like double exposures, it's actually more like a design sort of concept and another skill set. So I find that if you go to like brand agencies and design agencies, they sort of do this because obviously they interlace images, text, colors and texture together all the time, so they sort of understand the correlation between the two. So it's like when they do like leaflets, flyers, billboards, or just websites, so there's like a flow, and that's what you're trying to create with this fragmentation photography. But it's really good, it's worth having a look at, and you have to spend time on it if you're going to do it. I know that they're sort of, it's more so, they're obviously photographers which do it and design agencies and things, but they're actually teaching it more as like a sort of a syllabus or like a BTEC unit in college as part of the whole process of photography. And it's actually quite good to see that it's making a bit of a revival. Just like everything, it's always been there, you just might not have heard of it. You might have just thought, oh, that's a collage, or that's a double exposure, but sort of like it's a terminology which is used to sort of encompass lots of areas of it. And give it a go. it's something which, like I said, I've never really done. I've done similar stuff, but very, very little. But it's something which I think, like, yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that. And you know, in actual fact, one of the biggest things which we've all seen and done, I will try and get an image put up, but is where you see these images of where a sort of portrait is created through lots of other images of, say, other portraits. And then they get it to work cohesively. There obviously is a bit of editing involved, and it creates, like, say, a portrait of a famous person. But then as you get closer, you get to see, like, whether it's portraits of other people or like just different colours from different things. So like it'd be a red car, then there'll be a red pillar box, and it creates an image. So again, it's like a collage, but it's like fragmentation photography, and it's really, really good. So another little project for you to all go and have a look at, and just Google it and you will get lots of inspiration as usual. There is no right or wrong way to do this, so it's just a bit of fun, bit of a project. And if you like it, and if you've got some good images, comment below, send them to my email, and I will go through them at a later date and we'll see what we get. Especially the youngsters out there, send me your work and I will have a look, critique them, go over it. I'm sure there's some bangers out there, as there always is. I will see you soon.